Thanks, guys. Just probably a quick update from me, just further to our press release yesterday. Today we will be issuing the letters we drafted, seeking a copy of the statements that appeared in yesterday's newspaper, and we'll also be determining, I guess, exactly how we'll now interview our players.
How confident are you of actually getting those statements?
Look, I probably think it's unlikely, but we're certainly going to ask because it's only fair we get the information that others have their hands on.
Are you worried, or are you concerned that there is a drug culture within your club?
No, I think what we're looking at is an end of season matter. It's a period that the whole industry is determined is extremely high risk, and that's what the information appears to cover only.
These allegations in the statements from Carmichael Hunt, are they disappointing?
Look, I just want to understand what the facts are on this matter, and then once we understand what the facts are, I guess I can probably comment and answer that question.
As a footy club, you gave so much to Carmichael and brought him in, and big dollars, gave him the opportunity to play senior footy. You must be disappointed though that he's come out and done this.
Look, you got to take into account, I guess, his entire period at the club. When we started as a club, he was a really strong connection to our local community. People understood who Carmichael Hunt was. He started conversations for us. Look, I think you've got to judge that over a whole range of criteria.
How many players, or how many other players, have been implicated in this cocaine scandal, and are you asking them to come forward?
Look, that's one of the things we're trying to establish. Which, if any, players are involved, and we have asked previously for anyone who had any information to come forward, and to date nobody has, and we'll be re-asking that question over the course of the next few days.
When Carmichael was here, were there concerns raised about his behaviour? I mean, someone must have seen something or knew something might not have been quite right.
There's nothing that I'm aware of, and certainly the feedback from other players who have spoken publicly as well, they had no knowledge either.
Will you be wanting to speak to Carmichael Hunt personally about these matters to try and get some information out of him?
I wouldn't have thought so. We'll seek the statement from his lawyers, and as I said, if we can get that would be good.
There's been some claims made this morning that this has actually split the playing group, that there are some players who abide by really good behaviour and there's other players that are often out boozing. What can you make about those claims?
Look, I haven't heard anything to suggest that's the case, and I wouldn't think that was right.
These claims obviously broke, late on Saturday night. They were happening Sunday when you were playing your game. Do you think that affected your game yesterday? It was obviously a disappointing loss.
Look, it's hard to know, but we certainly didn't share the information with the players. Prior to the game, we focused purely on the game yesterday, and that we thought that was the right approach to take.
Some of the media outlets today have been saying that you'll be having crisis meetings with the players. Is that true?
No, I don't think that's right. What we will do is, as I said, try and work out the best way to move forward and have those conversations. And we're always going to respond once we get the facts and deal with this in a very fair and controlled manner.
So what's actually happening with players today? Have you seen a few of them walking in? Are you sitting down and talking to them?
Well, as you can see, today's a recovery day. So the guys played a game. We didn't get back till late last night. So they'll be pretty much off-site this morning. They'll start to come to the club on a case-by-case basis to do their recovery, and we just got to work in with the overall training program as to when the best time will be to have conversations.
How are they handling all of this? It can't be easy to have this scandal happen, erupt once again.
Well, yesterday I guess we played a game, so we were all as a club focused yesterday afternoon on that game. We were obviously bitterly disappointed we lost the game yesterday to Carlton, and to date that's sort of been where our focus has been. Today, we start to move forward into the other areas.
Do you think you can trust your players? This has already happened at the start of the year. You asked them to come forward, no one came forward, and now this again, is the trust gone?
I think the trust of our playing group. These guys have made some significant commitments over a number of years now. Their engagement with the community, their commitment to our club, so they've built a significant amount of trust. And again, we'll be able to assess that level of trust once we work our way through the matter and understand the facts that are at hand.
So if players are named and you do find out who they are, what will happen to them?
I guess until we understand exactly what we're dealing with, I just couldn't conclude exactly what that might be.
Do you think that drug testing needs to be stricter? Maybe hair sampling?
Well, there's hair sampling done now through the AFL, and that's been part of the process, and that's been part of the process that have given us some great degree of comfort up to this point in time that as a club we didn't have an issue any different to any other club. I guess the discussion now is around moving forward, how that policy evolves and can it be strengthened.
For example, at the moment they've got 3 strikes until it's made public. Is that something that needs to be reviewed?
It's certainly a discussion the industry is having right now, and that's something we as a club will input to. It's something that has been, the policy's been in existence for a while now, and it's probably due for some sort of refreshment.
In hindsight, do you think perhaps you should have had a more stringent approach to, I don't know, players possibly dabbling in drugs when Carmichael Hunt first appeared in court?
Look, we undertake regular education and conversations around this issue. It's an issue that's an industry-wide issue. It's an issue that's right in the demographic of our playing group right across the country, not just in football clubs but in society in general. So we constantly talk about it. I think the positive back in February was that this was given significant media coverage, and that enabled us to have a further detailed conversation with our players, and we continue and will continue to educate on this matter. At some stage, not all players may comply with the expectations we have as a club.
In this News Corp article, Carmichael Hunt talks about, the stresses of changing between codes, and that's one of the things that drove him to do these drugs. Do you think that that's something that needs to be addressed, the broader issue of the stress that's put on these players? Is that the reason that they're turning to these illicit substances?
Well, certainly we're in an industry that gets a lot of exposure. There's a lot of expectation, and we think we have a really good program here at the club with our 2 full-time welfare managers. It's an area the industry is also acutely aware of, and I think by and large it does a really good job in managing that. Individuals will all respond, I guess, differently.
Rockets hinted at it previously about the lifestyle getting in the way of playing footy. Do you think that's an issue?
Well, I guess that goes to the broader comment that as a club we're really demanding higher standards of ourselves, both on and off the field, and I guess that's what he's referring to in terms of just the professional standards to be an AFL player, and that can be your preparation, that can be your recovery, it can mean a whole range of things, and certainly as a club we're raising those standards across the board.